Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Yes, indeed.
Anthony Ramos.
What's up, what's up?
What's going on, brother?
I'm really good, man.
Well,
Thank
first, are you a
God.
Knicks fan?
I'm a Nets fan.
Oh, okay.
How?
That's what I'm talking
since
about.
Jersey.
Next level.
Explain. I
Kenyon
need
Martin,
the origin.
Richard Jefferson, Jason Kidd's my favorite player.
So
Okay.
you was a real Nets fan from the
Yo,
door?
like all of them.
Why?
Nick Van Horn.
Nobody ever
We
went
from Brooklyn.
No. He's talking about when he was in New Jersey.
I'm not gonna lie, Angela. It was like before I've been a Nets fan since they were in Jersey.
Tell me why, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got family out there? Somebody gave you
I have
free
no idea.
tickets?
Usually that's what it is. Like they give you free tickets and then you just
Nah.
dollar tickets. And
I mean,
stuff
I
like
went
that.
to my first basketball game like 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, like I hadn't been to a basketball game ever. I only watched them on TV, but I don't know. I love Jason Kidd. That was
No,
like my
those
dude.
Nets teams were good. Like you said, Jason Kidd, Richard
Yeah,
Jefferson,
Nick Van Horn.
Keon Martin,
Yeah.
Kenyon Martin, I'm sorry.
Kenyon Martin.
Kenyon Martin, yeah.
They were crazy. That team was fire. They made it to the finals, lost, but it's okay.
And now you're still a Nets fan.
I am.
I respect that, though.
Thank God. Here
Well,
we go.
good. We're going to get you out to some Nets games courtside because let me tell you something. We'll be so excited to have you at the games. You know, I work with them, so.
Come on, let's go. Hold up, twist my arm.
You didn't invite me to the
Let's
game.
talk about the stellar time that you are having right now, though, because In the Heights is about to come out. Obviously, we know you from starring in Hamilton, from She's Gotta Have It. So let's get right into it, which is everything that you've been doing. Even during the pandemic, you've been working.
Yeah, I mean it's been kind of crazy. During the pandemic, one of my boys. It was like I was supposed to shoot a movie in Budapest, this sci-fi like space film, and then it got postponed. And I sort of found myself. I was supposed to put out my second album last year. It was a whole thing, and the pandemic hit, and I was like, dang, what am I gonna do? And one of my best friends started teaching me how to use Logic. He was like, yo, you ain't gonna sit around and do nothing. He was like, bro, we're gonna open that laptop up. We're gonna teach you how to use Logic. You're gonna learn how to cut your vocals. We're gonna learn how to do this shit. So I was sitting there doing lessons on my computer with him, like virtually. He'd take over my computer with screen share, and he showed me how to kind of engineer. So I started keeping myself busy, and then I started cutting records virtually from my house, and I was just keeping myself busy that way. And then the movie came back around. I went and shot in Budapest, and then just stuff started to line back up again, and I found myself working again. And I was pretty grateful for that because I think like the rest of the world, I was kind of like, dang, what are we gonna
Were you
do
stuck
now?
in New York during that time? Did you do this all in New York?
Yeah, I did.
So you didn't leave New York like everybody else?
I didn't leave New York. I turned this one room of my apartment into like a weight. I got back in shape. Like I hadn't worked out in years. And I said, I just had a moment where I was like, yo, I'm not going to be sitting around doing nothing. I'm not going to just sit in my house and just be, you know what I'm saying, like a fucking schlep and shit. I was like, so I went out and bought, you couldn't even buy weights. So I was lifting, I got 2 gallons of Poland Spring.
Yo, get out of here, man.
Yo, I'm dead
I've
ass.
seen a lot of people do that.
2 gallons of Poland Spring. I had a yoga mat, and I was able to get my hands on like a Bosu ball so I could, work on abs and shit. And that was it. And I was just basic bands and stuff like that. And I got with a trainer, and we was virtually just like this. And I set him up at the end of the room, like, yo, you can see me? I'm like, you can see me? He's like, yeah, you good? And I was just like, get after it. And the pandemic actually became this moment of like, I didn't know how much of a blessing this moment would, and in the midst of this like tragic time, I do have to say that there was a lot of light in this time and a lot of self-reflection. I was able to spend more time with myself. I was on the go, running, and this time just there was a lot of good that came out of it.
Let me ask you a question. How are you? And when I ask that question, I'm asking sincerely, like mentally, emotionally, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Most days are good. Every now and then I have a rough one. I think I've been watching. Man, I love you guys. Had I think Dr. Jess.
Yeah, Dr. Jessica Clemens. Yeah.
And I've been doing therapy for 2 years now, and twice a week. And it's been that's been a blessing, and it's been awesome to see, shows like you guys' show and other shows like really like talk about this shit, because it gets hard, and I'm not gonna sit up here and complain like, yo, there's been a lot of blessings going on, the movies and this and that, and in my personal life and relationships, but like, yo, it gets hard sometimes. You sitting and you sitting by yourself and you're like, damn, like, a friend of mine asked me how am I, not too long ago, and I said, I'm all right, man, but sometimes I have to ask myself, like, what am I doing this shit for?
Right.
Like, why do I really know why I get up in the morning still? Like, I have to, I have to ask myself that question sometimes, because to someone on the outside could be like, what do you mean? Of course you get up because
you in movies, you on TV.
Yeah, you on movies, you on TV, you doing this, you fucking, you moving and you getting after it. But like, why am I getting after it though?
Have you figured that out? Have you broke that down?
I think every day is a new reason, right? Like, or not every day, but every now and then the reason changes, right? It'd be like, oh, for my family or for myself, or for or because I think this thing would be an amazing thing to achieve or to accomplish, and this would make me happy. But sometimes, I have moments where I have to like ask myself that question. But I do, all in all, it's because I love it. Somebody asked me the other day. I was doing a playback. Playing back my album for people and stuff, and
blessings.
Come on, blessings, right? And I was like, this guy asked me. He goes, "How do you balance everything? Like, how do you do the movies and the TV and the music?" And I said, "I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I said it gets exhausting doing these playbacks for you." I said this shit is exhausting. I said it gets exhausting being told no, like time and time again. People just like, no. Nah, that song ain't good enough. That movie ain't gonna. He's an alright actor. He's da 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 da. He's too young, or he's too this. And I said, but the reason why I do it all is because I love it. And I said, if I didn't love it, I wouldn't even be here with you right now, like playing you this music. Because at the end of the day, I believe in what I'm doing, and I believe in my music. I believe in my work and myself. And I was like, that's why. That's why I get up and do this shit. But
the beauty of all those no's, all it takes is one yes to exhilarate you again. The same way all those no's can exhaust you, one yes can fill you up.
That's exactly what I said to him too. I said to him, I get told no so many times, but I said when I get that yes, that shit gets me to the next moment where I can get the next one. Because I'm going to get told, I can't tell you how many things I haven't gotten to do or how many jobs I haven't gotten, but I can tell you, I can name the yeses, right? I can name those times when somebody's like, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Because that shit got me to the next moment. So.
And you can also see the progress, right? As things are leveling up just from where you started to where you are now.
Yeah. I mean, I think, when you ask for certain things in your contracts and people are saying yes now and they stop saying, I'm like, yo, can I get this kind of thing or whatever? And like 2 years ago they were saying no, and now they're saying yeah, but it even takes courage to be like, to continue to ask for those things, because you're like, yo, I know I deserve that. I'm not asking you for this thing because I feel like I'm not trying to be difficult. I'm not trying to be something. I'm like, I'm only asking you for this shit because I know I need it to perform.
Like what?
My best.
Like what kind of stuff, Anthony?
I'm curious. Like when I ask, can my trainer come with me to shoot this multi-million-dollar movie that I know I'm about to break my ass for? And y'all telling me y'all don't got the money for it.
Why you look at me, Charlamagne, when you heard him say break his ass? Why you look at me like that?
I did not look at you when he said that.
Oh, God.
Don't. He's immature. Don't pay attention.
I am immature.
I did not look at him at all.
You said, yo,
that guy's crazy.
You crazy.
I was like, look, I'm not asking for this shit because I'm trying to be difficult, but like, I need this shit. And then finally, you know what I'm saying? Then when they give it to you, like, I know.
Transformers 7, they sent you. Yes.
Do you like anything more like, because with music, that's you. Actor, you got to play different characters.
Right.
But musician, your feelings on a record. You can say what you want to say. So is there anything that you say, well, I like music, I like doing music better than acting, or is it just a craft that you just able to put your soul into?
Nah, music's always been my shit. Like I've, since I was a kid, I was writing songs. Like we had this Dell computer, like at the crib, and we like.
They still got one here.
Y'all got the Dells. Y'all got the Dells.
That's what we have here. Yeah.
I don't know these Dells. They used to be. It's the ThinkPad.
This might be yours.
Right.
Actually,
as long as they work, right?
Then.
But we had our computer in the crib, and then we had this little ass mic that barely extended from the back of the computer, and we used to burn beats off of LimeWire. Me and my cousins. And we drag the beats into the Windows Media Player. We pull up the voice memo app, and then we would click play on the voice memo app, click play on the beat, and then we'd have to record the song in one take.
Wow.
And if somebody fucked up, then it was like, all right, you gotta do the whole thing over. And we'd be 2, 3 in the morning. My aunt be coming yelling because it's 3 of us sharing one bedroom, and she, her room, the walls was mad thin, and she would hear us like, going in and recording mad late at night. But like, music's always been my first love. I would listen to albums front to back, and that was like the thing I looked forward to. Like,
who's your favorite artist growing up? Who was the one person that you idolized or listened to and got you through tough times?
When it was the Temptations, they were the
Temptations.
Wow. and John Legend. John Legend, I was burning through all his albums. I just loved to listen to him sing. Like, he influences how I sing. Mm-hmm. Those guys I was, but like, 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying album, that shit, I burned that shit through the, and Eminem's Marshall Mathers. I remember I was on a church trip with my family, and I'm like playing that shit, and I'm cursing in the room, and my mom's just like, turn that shit off. All those artists, influenced me, and that was the music that I loved.
What about your dance moves? Because you're known for that too.
So story about that is I learned how to dance on the boardwalk in Coney Island. Mm-hmm. My mentor, speaking of therapists and shit, I had he's one of my best friends now still, Jason Jacobs. He used to take me to Coney Island on the weekends. So DJ Ray Vasquez would be DJing in his gazebo on the weekends, and he play house music. So all the OGs were out there dancing all the time. They was and it was all freestyle. It was all like, nobody's out there doing choreography. Everybody's feeling each other out. Everybody's just feeling each other. And I'm like 15, 16 years old, and I'm going out there and I'm like intimidated because I'm like, yo, these cats is nasty. But like, I learned, and then you go in there and then you just kind of like, you fuck up a few times and shit, but then you get in there a couple times and you start really like vibing out. You really start learning. From messing up a few times, but that's kind of like how I learned how to really like dance, and I started to really like get into my body that way. I was like, yo, like these cats is out here killing it. So I sit there and watch them for hours. I'd be watching them.
Wow. What is the Transformers 7 Angela was talking about? Is that the Transformers?
Yes. Yeah. I'm playing the lead in the next Transformers movie.
Wow,
Yeah.
congratulations. I did not know that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah. It's coming out next summer.
Wow.
I think you just went to Canada to film that?
Yeah, I just came back from Canada like 2 days ago. We started filming already. I'm gonna be in New York for a couple of weeks, and then I gotta go back out there and quarantine again, and then we're gonna finish. The shoot. So
it's the same franchise that Shia LaBeouf and all that.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf, Mark Wahlberg, and then they decided to fucking mix it up a little bit. And they gave the Latino the shot. I was like, yo, good looks.
Congratulations, that's big.
All that too? You doing your own stunts?
Yeah. I do as many as I can. Yeah. So I've been training like how to drive stick shift, and I was drifting in the car 2 weeks ago. And with the stunt coordinator, so I do as many of my stunts as possible, because it's better when the camera's on you. They can get that close up of you doing that crazy shit. Mm-hmm. If it doubles in, and they gotta just cut to the wide, and then it's a wrap.
But the sci-fi trailer you was talking about doing in Budapest, that was something different.
That was something different. Yeah, that's a movie.
Wow.
That's a movie called Distant. I played this space miner, and this asteroid hits this big ass ship. I'm like going to this other planet. I had a tragedy happen to me on Earth, and I'm like, I decide to like leave Earth, and I'm like, I'm just gonna start a new life for a few years, and I'll come back later. And I take this trip to this planet. Next thing you know, the company decides to go through an asteroid field. The asteroid hits the ship. The shit splits in half, and then the space pod ejects from the ship. All the pods, and you start seeing them crashing into each other. My pod is, and all of a sudden I wake up and I crash land on some planet that I have no idea, like I don't know where I am, and now I'm looking for another survivor. So most of the film is just me by myself, and then I find my castmate, but we only hear her on my comms because I'm looking for her the whole time.
When they pitch you that, right? When they pitch that, how do they pitch that?
That sounds great.
It does.
Do they give it to you in paper, or do they call you and say, hey, I got this idea?
Your agents will send you like a script, like, yo, we read this thing, we think this is good for you, give it a read, and then I read mad slow, so it takes me like 3-4 days to read one script, And finally I hit them back and I'm like, oh yeah, nah, this shit is crazy, or maybe we can make some notes on the script here, or can we switch this up here, and that's it. And then it's either you're like yeah, I'm down, or I'll take the meeting with the director. But it wasn't even, that job wasn't easy. Like, the director came to my show on tour in LA, and then he gave me the job. He was like, yo, you're such a good storyteller. I was like, thanks, man. He was like, and he gave me the job after that. After he came to my show in LA, which was kind of crazy how the music helped me get this.
That's so dope.
Acting role.
You know how amazing the range of characters that you've already played. Like, it's such like, from being in Hamilton to playing Mars Blackman and She's Gotta Have It. In the Heights is about to come out. Transformers. This movie you shot in Budapest, and being an artist. Like, it's all over the place. But I think that's dope because you're not typecast in any way.
Yeah, I mean, I do my best to, I quoted this, or rather, like, I did a couple interviews recently, and they asked me, like, what was it like starting out? And I said, yo, when I was in school, I had people telling me, like, teachers, other students, yo, you should grow your hair out so you could be ethnically ambiguous.
Damn.
You should change the way you speak so that people don't know necessarily where you're from. And I was like, and at first I believed that shit. And I was like, damn, all right, maybe I should, okay, maybe they're right. And then I had this moment, like, a few years ago, man, like, where I was just kind of like, yo, I'm not trying to be hired to be ambiguous. My mother's Puerto Rican, I'm from the fucking projects in Bushwick. Like, I don't need to be ambiguous. Like, why can't people just hire me for me?
To be honest with you, you can't be ambiguous. All right?
Yeah.
You don't look ethnically ambiguous to me.
Yeah. And I was like, but it's crazy when people tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
You believe it after a while, and you're like, and I'm first starting out, and I'm like, okay, well, all right, then maybe I should do this, X, Y, and Z. Maybe that'll help me get jobs, because it was really hard. And especially I was in musical theater starting off, and it was hard to get a role in musical theater. It was like no shows for someone like me, right? Like, it was like, I start doing the sides, I start doing the lines. They're like, wait, but he's like from New York, but he sounds this kind of way or whatever, but he looks like that, but we don't really know where we're gonna put him. We don't know what to do with him. And they were just, nobody was trying to give me a role, man. It was so hard, man. I like wanted to
now
quit.
Look, you being your true authentic self has probably gotten you mad roles. Like, I wonder, like, when it comes to Hispanics in Hollywood right now, is it real diversity or just performative diversity on behalf of the industry?
I would like to think, right, it's real diversity, right? The Latino culture is such. I keep saying this too. Like, now what I love about this movie that we putting out now is because it's the diaspora is so wide,
mm-hmm.
right? I got cousins who are dark skinned. I got cousins who are mad light with blue eyes. Like, that is what the Latino culture is, Panama, Colombia, Peru, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. Like, these are all, every people look different. There's different food, different, all of our music, right? I was just talking about how most of our music is percussive as well, because it was crazy. Like, when the Spanish came, and specifically in Puerto Rico, and they came and settled, right? They let the slaves keep the Tainos and the Africans, they let them keep the drums. That was it. They said, you can keep the drums. And bomba, plena, rumba, these forms of music started to birth, because that was the way that we were expressing ourselves. So you think reggaeton, right? Salsa met, when all those forms of music met jazz. And salsa was born, right? And it became a more commercialized form of music. But it was like, it's interesting that, like now, what I'm so grateful for is that that right there could be too difficult for someone in Hollywood to try to comprehend, or even want to comprehend,
Mm-hmm.
But now, hopefully, people are more open to, like, learning about what that is, you know what I'm saying, and opening the door for more movies like, In the Heights, and, when I watch movies like Crazy Rich Asians or Black Panther, I mean, I was like, yo, this is gonna move the world.
To your point, I don't even think it is. It's not meant for Hollywood to understand. It's meant for Hollywood to cut the check.
Look,
what I mean?
on.
Get real authentic creators and give them the money to create. That's it.
Yeah, and that's really it, man. It's like, it's because it's you don't have to understand, but it's also right. They're like, yo, can we make money from this? Right?
That's right.
It's about if it ain't making dollars, it ain't making sense, right? So they're like, do we see an opportunity here? But I think that's why it's even more important for like, the Emmys and the Oscars, all these, and right, all these committees, right, the Grammys, everything, to be diverse and to diversify and to look more like what our world looks like, because those are the people listening to the music.
That's
the
right.
people actually listening to the music are a diverse body of people. So why not let that be the representation of the people deciding who's getting this award for this, who's getting nominated for this, you know what I'm saying? And I think that, that is I think the motivation. You asked me, right? Envy was like, what do you know why you get up and do it? That's why. Because I want to be a small little a part of this movement of I guess artists and act performers who are striving for that kind of shit in the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Growing up in New York City, did you have a lot of support growing up when you wanted to be an actor? Because I'm thinking about it now. When you first started, I'm sure you didn't see as many faces that look like you on TV or on the big screen. So when you wanted to say, hey, I want to be an actor, and you told your family, I want to be an actor, they laugh. It's like, yeah, all right, whatever, Nick. Or was it one of those things like, nah, let's do it?
Nah, they laugh. Yeah, actor. Okay, cool. Like, and it wasn't.
Take the trash out.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What's your backup plan? I had uncles being like, you got a plan B. You got to have a backup plan. I looked him right in the face. I was like, bro, I don't have a backup plan. Like, I don't have a fallback. I don't plan to fall back. You know what I'm saying? If it's like, but it was hard because, especially in musical theater, if you ain't in a movie, like, until you get in the movies, until somebody sees you on TV or they hear you on the radio, you haven't made it to them.
Yeah.
But Hamilton was life-changing, and I think that changed a lot when it comes to theater.
It was life-changing, but they still didn't even, like, that's still Broadway.
Most of us don't go to see plays. That's the bad thing about it. I mean, Broadway is so big, especially being in New York. I mean, Broadway is huge. Plays are huge. But most people don't go to see plays until they get a lot older. So
it's still not TV or film.
But that made a lot of people actually go to the theater. That's why I think Hamilton was life-changing as well, just as far as representation on Broadway. It made so many people that had never gone. I saw a lot of people say, I'd never been to the theater before, but I'm going to see Hamilton. Yeah,
I mean, people heard the vibrations, right? It's like anything, like what you had what was, I can't remember her last name, Pat. Miss Pat, she was on your show too?
The comedian?
Yeah.
The VP Records.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Miss Pat Chin.
Right.
Pat Chin.
And she was talking about the streets was singing it. Or something like that, right? She said they couldn't deny these artists because the streets were singing it, and it was kind of what happened with Hamilton. The streets were talking about the show before. I'm talking like Busta Rhymes came to the show, gave us a 30-minute like speech after the show about how inspired he was, and then decided he was like, I'm coming out in a King George outfit on my tour. They're making me this costume because I was so inspired. Like,
that's dope.
And then people, old musical theater heads who've been in the game. Were coming backstage telling us how moved we were, and it was just like the word started getting out that way. Even before we had any press, we were off Broadway. I was doing the show for $420 a week or something like that for 6 months. There was no camera. It was no presidents coming yet, nothing. And and that's actually where I met Spike. Spike came to the show off Broadway, heard about it, and that's when he calls me out of nowhere, and he's like, I'm like, what number is this? And I could just get a voicemail, 4 seconds, Anthony, Spike Lee, call me back. That was it. I was like, the fuck?
I can tell you still got it saved. I could tell you still got it saved.
Yo, it was crazy. Nah, yeah, I remember that shit. And like, but it was, that's how the word, got out. I think when Lynn told people what the show was, they were kind of like, I even tried to explain to my friends like what it was, and I'm like, yo, it's like a colorful cast, but we play like the founding fathers, and we rapping, we spitting in this shit, and like it's crazy, like the music is banana, and like people would look at me like I was.
Yeah, I didn't get it till I saw it, and by the way, nobody told me that. Everybody just was like, you gotta go see Hamilton. I was like, why would I want to go see a play about Hamilton? And then somebody gave me tickets. I think it might have been Latino. Somebody gave me tickets to go see the play.
Yeah.
Somebody from Atlantic, because Atlantic Records did the same.
Atlantic.
Yeah,
You're right.
Riggs
and when I went to go see it, and I was like, wow. Now I got it. You know what I mean? The hip hop elements, everything that was involved in it. But when they was trying to explain it to me, I was like, no. If I didn't go see it for myself, I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah, it was hard to. I tried to explain to one of my boys. I was like, "This shit is like the hip hop Les Mis." You know, and he was like, and he looked at me.
That's a good explanation.
He looked at me offended. Like he was like, "You just compared your show to Les Mis." And I was like, "All right, bro." And that same friend came to the show, sent me the longest text message. I was like, "Yeah, all right, bro. Now you fucking with it. All right, bet."
And you're working with Lynn again for In the Heights, right? So that's about to come out.
Yeah, and then Lynn and I teamed up again, and we're doing In the Heights. It comes out June 11th. June 11th is when the movie premieres in theaters and HBO Max. Yeah, man, and that film was crazy. Like I bombed that audition. That shit was, you know, like when everything that movie. I had auditioned for that film like a year before I even got the role. And I ain't hear nothing back because my audition was horrible. And I was like, "There's no way they're giving me this role." And then I played the role in the stage production. Lynn saw it, and then I met up with John Chu, the director, and we just sat for breakfast in Los Angeles, and he was like, "Yo, like we just shared stories, and that was it." Like, and then I got another job, which was kind of crazy. And I text John, I'm like, "Yo, my man, look, I got another job. I'm not everything I said, I mean it. Like, I really want to do this film." But if y'all ain't trying to cast me, I gotta go, you know what I'm saying? Con Edison don't wait for nobody. That's right. You know, I gotta go, you know, and he was like, "Nah, yo," he texted me back, he said, "It was you, it was always you, let me get the suits to move." And then like 2 days later, I get the call like, "Yo, you got the role."
Do you think this is with people of color, because I heard you say people of color, you know, telling their stories on big stage is something we haven't had for forever. So do you think this is like a permanent shift in Hollywood where we'll see more stories, authentic stories from Black and brown people?
I hope. I think it is though. I don't think I don't think this is gonna stop. You know, and I think Black and brown people are gonna press in until Hollywood's gonna have they're gonna have no choice. I'm gonna tell you right now, they're gonna have no choice because that door is those kicks and them knocks are gonna get too loud, where you're gonna have to answer. You're going to have to answer. And you know what? If you don't want to give us the money to make that shit, don't worry about it. We'll come together and we'll raise the money and make the shit ourselves. And
it feels like Hollywood's not as necessary as it used to be, right? Because people are getting things done. It's not as expensive to make a movie either.
You can make a movie for $1 million, $2 million. You could collect that money, and $1 million, $2 million, yeah, it sounds like a lot of money, but you get enough people. You do that GoFundMe and that story's good enough. You get enough $10 donations. That shit is on and popping, you know? And I think... You know, and I think there's this movement right now, and this kind of this vibration in the spirit, you know, within a lot of people, and especially people of color and people who are in communities who have been just like, who have just been not welcomed in Hollywood for so many years, and their stories haven't been welcomed. Where they're like, I'm tired of seeing the same motherfuckers play the lead roles in every single movie. Look, I love movies, but like, this is not what the world looks like.
That's right.
If this is what your world looks like, maybe, but this is not what the world looks like. And I'm not gonna sit around, and that's why, you know, people are like, you know, I think people have asked me like, "Yo, what has been the biggest thing? Like, if you could give advice or whatever, you know, or been the biggest, the thing that you think has affected you the most." And it's like my ability to say no. I said no even when I was broke. Because I'm like, nah, I'm not playing gangster number 2 in this TV show again. I'm not playing drug dealer number 3. I'm not doing it.
Right.
If that's what you think, that's what you think, that's all I could do, then it's all good. I don't even want to work for you. Right. You know? So I think this shit is changing though. I really do, you know, and I hope it continues, man. And you know, I'm excited, man. I get really excited about it.
I just want I want us as the Black and brown creatives to, number one, tell great stories. And I want us as consumers also to support these great stories. Because like you said, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, you know, if you find someone, right, that you know of an artist, or you know someone who's putting out content that you like, man, this shit is dope. More people need to see it. I think sometimes we try to, and look, I'll speak from my own life, right? Like, coming from someone who didn't have a lot growing up, right? It can be easy to have a mentality like it's me, mine. I need to get mines before I give to anybody. But it's like sometimes it's worth being generous and giving someone that you believe in, and you struggling just a little more to help someone else out, because in the end, it's the whole team winning. If you win, we all win. Right. Especially if you believe in somebody enough, you know. And I just think like the more we, you know, and you know, I think especially, you know, and again in my own situation, like my neighborhood was. Bushwick has changed a lot, but growing up,
yes, it has.
Right, you know, but it was predominantly, you know, Black and Latino, and it was, you know, a lot of us were in the struggle together, you know, specifically in those projects that we grew up in, you know, all those kids growing up and shit, and it could be easy to grow up and say like, I gotta get mine. I gotta get mine. And then when I get it, I gotta hold on to it. And I gotta just protect mine. And when you don't have, it's like, nah, I can't be dishing out bread. I don't know when I'm gonna get it again. Mm-hmm. But sometimes it's worth seeing someone and being like, yo, you know what? I believe. And like, I got $5 here. I'm gonna give you $2.50. You know, and just don't look back. And I think the more we have that spirit, the more, you know, if Spike Lee gave me a shot.
Right.
And She's Gotta Have It, you know? Lynn gave me a shot. Like these people who could have given these roles to anyone else, they gave me a chance, you know? So I'm hoping that I can be in a position to do that for people soon enough, and so on and so forth, man. Like that's you know, that's the goal. That's
and
the
you
goal.
played Spike Lee's character and She's Gotta Have It. I know that was pressure. Mars Blackman.
Yo, but he didn't even, like, the thing about it, what was a blessing was he didn't even put pressure on me like that. Like he was just like, yo, do your thing, man. Like your character is gonna be different from mine. And I didn't even watch the movie when I played the character. I didn't even watch the film. I just like,
that movie older than you.
Yeah. It definitely
I'm pretty
is.
sure it is.
It is. But I didn't watch the movie. I just, because I didn't want to imitate him. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, let me just kind of turn this guy into whoever he's gonna be, you know, and yeah, that's how that happened.
Let's get
Well, the
into
stars
a song.
have aligned, yeah. For the you got to play Blessing, right?
Yeah, let's get into a song right now.
What's the single?
I mean, there's a few, but Blessings was the last song that came out. I got a song Echale coming out.
Echale, you know what? I'm sitting there looking at this. Is that a Kel?
Well, nah,
Echale.
Echale.
What's that mean?
Echale is like a thing that a lot of Latinos say. They be like, mira, echale. Like, you gonna go talk to her? Go echale. Or you gonna take that shot? Echale. Like,
Yeah.
Who you gonna be tonight? Echale.
We got to
go
start
ahead.
using that. We got to start using that.
Yeah,
What you want us to play then? What you want? Echale?
But you know, I think you should hit Blessings, man. That's
Let's do
my
Blessings.
that's that
Okay.
shit.
All right.
It got a nice Caribbean vibe to it.
Nah,
You know, I
man.
like that.
All right. Well,
And
let's
the
get
album
into
is out, what, June 25th, right?
The album's out June 25th. Tomorrow, pre-order June 4th. Well, I guess today's June 4th.
Mm-hmm.
So today, June 4th, album pre-order. Echale comes out. We got Say Less, Blessings. We got another single coming out right after that with the album, and I'm so excited, man. The goal was just to have 12 bangers. The first album was like story time, I told people, and the second album was just like, the goal was just smash after smash after smash, and I think we achieved that, but I guess the verdict is out, so the people will
Say
let us know.
less.
Love and Lies out June 25th. Anthony Ramos, thank you, brother.
And I do want to congratulate you on everything too, because I saw you on the cover of Time, the Hollywood Reporter. You really have. I think this is like a prime time for you to put your project out, because I know the music is so important to you. So the timing, the stars couldn't have aligned better for you.
Yeah, well, thank you, Angela. I appreciate it, and Charlamagne and Envy, thanks for having me, man. This was dope, and yeah, I hope y'all enjoy the joints, man. We fucking 2 years in the making, man. You know.
Word.
All right. Well, let's get into it right now. We appreciate you for joining us, Anthony Ramos. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Thanks, man.